Yeah, I just, once again, it's tough picking these maiden claimings. But moving on to the race 3 here, we got an optional claimer at a mile on the synthetic track. We got a small field of 6 here. Who do you like here?
Well, I mean, you look at Hooray for Hollywood, and he's been favored his last 3 starts and hasn't won any of them. I'm trying to stay away because I feel either him or Mackenzie's Way, one of those two probably will be favored here. And hopefully Mackenzie's Way actually pressures Hooray for Hollywood, because I think Hooray for Hollywood's one of those horses that there's only one way for him to go, and that's to the front. And Mackenzie's Way seems to do his best running in the front end. So hopefully those two develop a bit of a speed duel. And I'm looking for a horse named Great Warrior, who's been running against some really, really nice horses and steps down. His buyers are consistent. He runs hard every time. And I think that maybe with a little bit of a speed duel going on in front of him and a stalking trip, he can get the money here with Victor Espinosa and AC Avila. He's been working well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this horse, and hopefully he gets a win today. He's been facing, like I said, some really tough competition. Coyle, Johnny Jack, Wilkinson, Morning Line, Ultimate Eagle, even farther down. Just a lot of really nice horses, and he can run. He's been running in some sprint races, but you see that he has also run in some long-distance races too, some routing races. So he has done this before, and he can win, and I think he's a good play here, and he may even get a little tiny bit of a price here because of the for 1 and 3.
Yeah, I pretty much what I looked at. I just told myself, you got to bet the Baffert and Bejarano horse on the 1. Hooray for Hollywood, who's my second choice here. Being such a small field, I see this horse possibly going out to the lead, and I think Bejarano will put this horse in the best position to win the race. But I agree with Great Warrior. That is my top choice as well. I mean, AC Avila is a great trainer. For me, putting Espinoza aboard, they hit at 17%. I know this horse is capable. If you look down the past performances, you see this horse has been capable of riding mile races. This horse ran last year on this track in the El Cajon, finished second, lost the nose to Celestic Knight, and that shows us this horse is definitely capable of handling this track. The last race, was a bit tough because you had Coyle to deal with. I mean, Coyle is a special horse nonetheless. And I think this horse, it will set up perfect. I think there's some speed in this race, and Espinoza decides to get back aboard, so it's a live play. And it's a small field. I would expect this horse probably to be around 5-1, maybe. Since it's such a small field.
I think he's a little versatile. I think he's got the outside pulse, so Espinoza can look over and see what they're doing inside of him, and he can make a decision there where he wants to be. If they're going way too quick, he can settle farther back, or if they're slow, he can be right close. But Hooray for Hollywood should be going towards the front. He's got the 1 hole, so that's not necessarily... people who like that horse aren't probably necessarily... They're probably not thrilled with that post, but he's going to have to get out of there cleanly. But he is a hard-trying horse. He runs well every time. He tries hard every time, and he's going to be around at the top of the stretch, and hopefully Great Warrior can run up by him, and hopefully Mackenzie's Way puts a bit of pressure on him too.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to look at the fractions nonetheless. I mean, when I see a horse go out to lead, you always have to look at the fractions. You got to see how fast they're going, whether they're up front and they're slow down the pace. They're going usually at a mile race on a synthetic. I would say maybe 23-4, 23-3 would be about a reasonable a pace to set up. I would think so. That's what I try to look for, and also see how if the horse's ears are pricked up, and if the horse looks good up front, if he's going to be tough to catch, especially in these small races where nobody will want to. I mean, if you look back on Saturday, you look at the La Jolla handicap when My Best Brother got the lead, and he went slow early on, and then horses sitting back in second and third, they decided to put pressure on him, and then it ended up kind of costing the horse a race. But that's kind of an example I would say for these mile races and small fields is pay attention to the opening quarter, opening half mile. If this horse is going significantly fast, I mean, if you look at his last race, he ran 23-3, 47-2, and he ended up losing a length. So if he could slow it down, you would think that he would probably have a lot left in the tank. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to let that horse get out easy too. I think they know that he's capable of being a very nice horse when he gets things his way. But speaking of small fields, you were just talking about that, and sometimes weird things happen in small fields, believe it or not. You get in the most trouble when there are small fields, and I've seen it happen. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a tactical race. The jockeys are going to have to they're going to have to jockey for position. No pun intended there. They're going to have to jockey for position, and it's going to be tactical. And they're going to have to one's going to have to outsmart the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's open field. You never know what can happen. But moving on to race 4 here is a maiden special weight, a mile once again on the Jimmy Durante turf course.
Well, I looked at this race, and it's pretty interesting because you have a horse in here by the name of Power Broker. And Power Broker was one of those horses first time out who is very, very, very highly regarded, maybe the most highly regarded horse of the summer, arguably. And he came and he ran very dull. And watching this race, I said to myself, Baffert had two horses in here, title contender in this horse, Power Broker. And Power Broker went off at between 3 to 5 and 4 to 5. And I looked at this horse and I said, this horse needs to route. And now he's gotten his chance to route. It's on the grass. It'll be interesting to see how he handles the grass. But I would think that if they put him in this race, that they're not questioning whether he can handle the grass or not. He worked some sensational workouts before his first race, and he only worked out once here, went 101 and won. Probably nice little maintenance work here. But this is his chance to shine, and we're going to see what this horse is made of now that he can route. Didn't look like a sprinter, and title contender, the third place finisher, didn't look like a sprinter either here. He's in the also eligibles, but I don't think he'll get in. It's going to be tough for him to get in this race. But I'm going to take a shot at Power Broker again. He'll be odds on, I would think, just because of the connections and how highly regarded he was in his first race. But I'm going to take a shot at him again. But I do think there's a very this is a race where there are probably quite a few that could win here. And I'm going to let you take over here and tell us a little bit about the others if you have any opinions.
I mean, I agree with Power Broker. I mean, the horse, like you said, definitely probably going to want a lot more racing room, and they add the blinkers for the first time, and Baffert usually knows what to do with these horses after seeing them first time. He's 23% with maiden second-time starters, and when he moves into the turf, first-time turf, he hits at 14%, and 13% when adding first-time blinkers, and, as usual, he's going to put on his top rider and Rafael Bejarano. The horses to look at in this race, the outside of Power Broker is going to be Shining Copper, and a horse that's raced on the turf, and he showed a good kick. He's probably going to definitely want a lot more room to run here. I mean, he started to come at the stretch, and Flores gets back aboard. Niels Drysdale, a lot of people call him one of the best turf trainers out there. And he knows what he's doing. And when he decides to put a horse on the turf course, I mean, if you look at him overall, he has 18% on the turf. Switching from sprint to route, he hits at 10%, and I just expect this horse is crying for the two-turn distance after that effort up at Betfair Hollywood Park. Another horse here with that's going to show the most class is Moreno for Eric Gouillet and Agapito Delgadillo. And this horse, they obviously thought this horse was special, racing in a maiden special weight, lost a Hair of Storm. They put this horse immediately in the Best Pal last weekend, just a week ago, and did nothing. And then they decided to put this horse here in this mile turf race. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's a ghost zapper. First time turf, he only hits at 8%. They haven't worked the horse out since last Sunday. I would give this horse a shot, I guess. I wouldn't expect. I would expect decent odds, maybe. But, maybe this horse might want the two turns, I would imagine.
Going back to Shining Copper, because he was my second pick here. Aragorn, his daddy, was a very, very, very nice grass horse. So he's definitely bred for the turf. And he's going to like this two-turn distance for sure because Aragorn won at 2 turns going a mile and 1/8 here. He actually liked Del Mar. So this horse is going to be an interesting look. And probably going to be sitting mid-pack to closing, but he puts his top rider in David Flores out here, and he's one I'm going to be watching very closely. Also, Indicott for Richard Mandela and Japanese jockey Yuichi Fukunaga. APND, he's been working out well. I expect to see him do well because Mandela does well with these babies going long on the grass, and he knows how to get them ready This horse has been working out. I like the workout patterns here. And Lawyer Gabe, you got Jeff Bondy. This horse, I think, is a nice little horse as well. And you got Corey Nakatani on the grass, and you know how devastating Corey Nakatani can be on the grass when he's on a good horse.
Yeah, I mean today he won 2 turf races. And speaking of Aragorn, I believe Aragorn is the track record holder of a mile and an eighth, if I'm not mistaken. If not, holds the stakes record for the John C. Mabie, because I remember he won the John C. Mabie here back in 2006. Yeah, I mean he's crying. Eddie Reed, that's right. Is I mean, of course, the connection. I mean, the sire-wise for Shining Copper is definitely going to be an improvement here. You would think he's gonna be a grass horse, and especially in the hands of Neil Drysdale. I mean, I would put a lot of faith in this horse with Neil Drysdale.
Oh yeah, I mean, Power Broker probably will be a big favorite, but it's not like these others can't run too. It's going to be an interesting race and see how these horses do. And Power Broker is going to have to show what he's made of here. It's going to be an interesting race.
All right, now moving on to race 5 here, claiming 32,000, another mile race on the synthetics for fillies and mares. Who do you like here?
Well, I looked at this race, and I actually looked at this race a little bit longer than the others, and I ended up going with My Gal Candy here, and she's a pretty legitimate choice here, I would say. She's very consistent, runs well. She only has run once at this distance and won. Looking at her synthetic record, she loves the synthetic tracks. Just a hard-trying, hard-knocking, good, solid filly here, and I think that this is her spot. I think $32,000 claiming race is about what she's ready to do. And if you look at her lap, she's been sprinting quite a bit. She's only ran the mile distance once, only over a mile once. All the others have been sprinting. And I think she's versatile. The Candy Rides can run on anything, and they can run any distance. So I think My Gal Candy's ready to fire here. And I think Mr. Hollendorfer had a very nice day today. I think he's going to add another win in the win column in the 5th on Wednesday.
I also like My Gal Candy. I mean, seeing that the horse had an effort here on the Dalmar Synthetic, I mean, she was pretty far behind, 10, 13 lengths, but she really flew in the stretch. She was 8.5 lengths back when they turned for home, and then she only lost by 2 lengths to Miss Oops, who came back to race today and finished a solid second in the 9th race, the nightcap, today on Sunday, August 12th. And
how she's run on this track already. They've given her some time. They haven't run her back too quick, and that's always a big positive. And with Garrett Gomez, you know how he is. He can finish. He's just a great rider, and I have a lot of confidence that he's going to help guide this horse to where she needs to be, and that's the winner's circle, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, Hollendorfer claimed this horse too. He hits at 16% off the claim, and when he makes the move from sprint to route. And also one thing to note is that Jerry Hollendorfer also used to train this horse until R.B. Hess Jr. and them they claimed the horse from, I believe it was from Pleasanton. Yes, from Pleasanton, and then R.B. Hess brought the horse down here and raced here at Dalmar, and Hollendorfer quickly, without hesitation, claimed this horse when he was able to, and he puts him in this spot again. He doesn't drop him in class. He's stretching him out. He's, like you said, he's 1 for 1 at this distance. I mean, Hollendorfer's just putting I believe he knows after having this horse back up in Northern California, up at Golden Gate, that this horse is easily capable of handling the mile distance.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of confidence in her. I think that's another plus that he claimed her back. He wouldn't, for example, he wouldn't claim a horse back if it was having physical issues. So I would assume this horse is pretty sound. And like I said, she's going to try hard all the time, because if you look at how she's done in her whole life, 25 races and she's won 12 times, finished second 4 times, and third 1. So, she's been in the money 17 out of 25 times. That's pretty good. And I have a lot of confidence in this film.